On to step number 9, and that is to create our product listing, which really this is where a lot of the work happens. And this is a good time to complete all this work once your brand registry application has been approved. And 2, typically when your products are in transit, as I'm showing you here. If you already have your products, that's even better. That means you have them on hand. We can take our pictures that we need for the listing, and we can really move through this a lot quicker. Otherwise, between days 60 through 80, this is typically a waiting period because you are waiting on your products. And that's why I think it's the best time to create your listing, because you can't really do anything otherwise. So I'm going to share with you today how to create that listing. And then ultimately we'll move on to step number 10, which is the launch strategy, which is how we are actually going to prepare our product detail page and our products to be sold as quickly as possible. So let's take a look at this pyramid. This is what we are going to be working through today, at least partially through today, but throughout this entire step 9 lesson, this is what we'll accomplish. So the first thing we want to do is we want to perform keyword research. We're going to use Jungle Scout for this, but you can also use Amazon, or you can use Google Trends. You can use a lot of different free resources. Keyword research ultimately comes down to search rank. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find different keyword search phrases that customers are currently typing in. We want to put that on our listing, so Amazon's algorithm finds our listing when a customer types in this term and increases our chance of actually ranking and listing high. So for us, a trending keyword may be best golf cover, or maybe white golf head cover, something along those lines, and I'll share you with you how to find that. Once we find that information, we are going to put those trending keyword phrases into our listing content, which is the second block here. We are also going to be using Amazon's AI platform, but you're also welcome to use ChatGPT or Seller Buddy AI to accomplish this. So I think this is a great way to leverage today's technology to create at least the foundation for our listing content. And what I mean by content is the title, the bullet points, the product description, any type of physical content or words that you see on a listing. If we use AI, it can lay us a solid foundation, and then we can add in our own keywords to make it sound better or more accurate, or to include a better search rank keyword term. All right, then we'll move on to media here, which we'll use Canva to create our product images. And the video that I'm going to share with you is actually what I use to create a product listing for these butane lighters. You can apply that same logic to creating them for my golf head covers as well as your products. So I'll share with you at that point how to create 6 images. And then lastly, we'll upgrade our membership to the professional seller plan. More to come on that. And create A+ content, which is just visuals, which is just images that you typically see in the product description section, and helps you to convert more sales. So let's start off with the building block here, keyword research, since this is the foundation for everything else. And we'll go to Jungle Scout to get started. All right, so once you log into Jungle Scout, let's go to the left-hand side here, which they just changed up the menu. Go to Keyword Optimization and then Keyword Scout. All we have to do now is type in our product, or you can actually copy and paste an ASIN if you have a top competitor that's doing very well. I am just going to type in golf head cover, make sure it's United States, and click search. Very simple. So now Jungle Scout's looking through all of these different keywords that relate to that one keyword that I just typed in, and it's going to provide us all this information. You can see here, these are all the different keywords: golf head covers, driver head cover, 3-wood head cover, hybrid head cover, and so on. They're also going to share with us the 30-day search trend, how it's trending. So it's the end of the year as I'm making this, and golf products are typically poor performers just because of the seasonal changes. So this does not surprise me. Shares with you the exact search volume per 30 days, the category, just make sure this is your category, sports and outdoors for us. The PPC stuff here, which is pay per click, this is for advertising. We will use this later on, but you don't have to worry about it right now. The same thing with ease to rank. Relevancy score, don't worry about that. We're going to use our own logic to select the golf head covers based on the amount of search volume here. Okay, so you can either just keep this window up and we'll use this when we create our listing, or what I recommend doing is click download CSV. This will take a couple seconds, and then you can download this into an Excel or CSV file format. So click download. You can also open this up in Google Sheets or Numbers if you have a Mac, and then we can see here all that same information, but in a nice table shown here. So just keep that handy. I'm going to keep that window up, and then I'm going to go to Amazon Seller Central to the main page here, and I'll share with you how we can create our product listing. All right, very quickly, we can either click Add Products here, or because I have this bookmarked, or we can click Menu, Catalog, add products. And since I had this one bookmark, I might as well show you how I did that. Just go to any of these sub items here, and then you can click this bookmark and just add that to your top row. So if you have anywhere that you like to go, on a routine basis to check reports, whatever it may be, you can add that as a favorite or a bookmark to quickly get you there. Now, fortunately for you, we are living in this AI revolution right now, or this AI advancement, and listing your products has never been easier on Amazon. Typically in the past, we would spend hours and hours to think of what's a great product title to capture the customer's attention while balancing the amount of keywords we're using. And then you have to do that again for the bullet points and for the product description. And it was just a lot of copywriting that took a long time to do. Fortunately for you, as I'm mentioning, we can use AI, which is already integrated into Amazon to complete 90% of that work. Then we'll go in and we'll tweak things as we need to. And, honestly, we can probably finish this within 20 to 30 minutes, if not sooner. So for listing your products, we can start out with a couple different options. We can enter a couple keywords that relate to our product. We can upload a product image, a product ID, which is your UPC. If you have a website for that product, such as a Shopify store, you can paste that into there and it'll pull all the information from it. Start out with a blank form, which is what we've always done in the past. And then don't worry about the spreadsheet. That's if you're adding multiple listings all at once. So product image, this is by far at least my recommended route if you have a good high quality picture of your product, because it's going to use AI to digitally scan what that product is and then create your listing based on that. If not, go ahead with keywords, enter your product title if you have it, or a couple keywords that relate to your product. So I'm going to drag and drop that main image that we use for the brand registry application. Another important thing to note here is this doesn't have to be your final product photos. It's okay to complete this entire process with a stock photo or even a digitally altered photo just for this step to get our product listing created. We can always go back and we can edit just about everything except, with some exceptions on that listing at a later time. So let's click submit. And then Amazon's technology is going to get started after we fill out this section here. So they already have our image here. And now if we want to add some more information, such as our product dimensions or our product itself, we can go ahead and add that in here. So we can add up to 100 words. I am going to enter in a couple descriptive keywords about my product. And then I want to enter in the dimensions of the product, which I'm not sure if it can do that at this point, but it's worth adding that in there. So we don't have to do that because that does take a little while later on. So type in golf head cover for driver, white quilted design. What else? Cigar, whiskey logo. And then we can put soft felt inside to protect driver from weather, scratches, and dust. That's soft. Okay. Now I'm going to go down the line and put item dimensions and then product dimensions. Now this is important to discuss, and we'll discuss it also later on. Item dimensions is what are the dimensions of your product alone. Product dimensions includes your packaging. So you can even change this just so it makes more sense. Just type in packaging dimensions. Packaging dimensions includes your package itself, and it also includes your product within it. So there's two different items, and the package or product dimensions should always be larger because you're putting your product inside of packaging. So for item dimensions, it's 12 inches by 4 inches by 2 inches. And then our packaging's in a poly bag. It's just slightly larger, so it's 12.5 inches by 4.5 inches by 2 inches. All right, we can upload more images if we want to, and then we can click generate content. Now within a couple seconds, we should see our item name here pop up to a product title, which that's what this section is. And then also our product type should identify what that product is. So it's very good that this already identified that this is a golf driver head cover. It's white quilted, the cigar whiskey logo as we typed in, and then the product dimensions. These are all things that you should have in your product title. We are going to add more to this just so it sounds better and it's easier to understand. But it's at least a good start. And we'll see the bullet points. That will save us a lot of time. So a couple things I'll do from the start here. I'll add the inches there, and then I'm also going to put one head cover. Capitalize that. Just because for a product like mine, that can be somewhat confusing if they're going to receive 3 of these head covers for all their woods. but it's important just to put what they are going to receive if it makes sense. So especially if you're selling in bundles, say they get 2 head covers in this scenario, it's important to put 2 there. At that point, I'm going to go back to the CSV file. And then this is ranked in terms of search volume. The more searches, the better for us. So we want to make sure that we have some of these in our title here. So we have driver head cover, which we already have, golf club covers. So I'm going to look through this list until there's something pops out to me, which also relates to my product. Make sure it has to relate to your product. So this head covers for golf clubs. I want to add that. I'm going to put it right here. You can have a maximum of 150 to 200 characters depending on your product category. You want to make sure you add enough, but also don't overwhelm the customer and have exactly 200 characters and have this massive title. Add enough keywords to really increase your search rank, but also to make it easy to understand and read. Okay. The other thing I wanted to add here, which the AI tool did not, is I want to add some important features for this specific product. So we have the white quilted. I'm going to put leather. And then I also want to add that it is water resistant, which is a big feature of mine. Water resistant. I'm going to put soft to touch inside. Soft to touch felt inside for extra protection. Okay, that looks like a much better title. So I'll click outside of that. It's going to update everything else on inside the listing that we're about to see. And now we can go down to product type. Another thing we could have done there, which I'm going to copy this, is we can click regenerate. And it's going to find a different title for us. As you can see here, it looked like it just kind of threw things around instead of creating a brand new title. But I think it creates a good foundation, right? You can always go back and forth between the titles 1 and 2. Okay, product type here. This is a golf club head cover. This is your, let's just say, your subcategory. If this doesn't make sense, you can click select other, and then you're going to be brought to this, which is very common if you've created listings in the past. What you can do is you can type in a category. So we can type in golf head cover, and that same one should pop up. Yep, golf club cover here. And it shows you also the Amazon department here or category, and all the subcategories down to head covers. Now it's important for us. If you look here, golf club cover. Yeah, those are both the same final subcategory. However, one is within fan shop, golf store, golf equipment, golf club head covers. This isn't anything related to an existing licensed team, let's just say. So fans aren't going to be looking specifically for this product. It makes a lot more sense if it's in sports, golf, accessories, head covers. So you can go ahead and click select there. Okay, now you should see some more options pop up. The next item here is variations. This is a very important topic, and this is where a lot of confusion comes into play. A variation is a different color of your product, meaning it has the same design, but maybe I'm selling this in a blue and a red design as well. So it's important that if you have a different color or a size change, but it's still effectively the same product, you will have variations, so you want to select this. So if we had a couple different colors, we'd click this product has variations, and then we would select the color variation. I will come back to this at the very end and share with you how to create those variations, but for the sake of just a single product, which is going to be applicable to most of you, I want to share with you how to do this. All right, brand name. If we go ahead and click this, we should see our brand name pop up. If you do not, go back to the brand registry, brand applications page, make sure you're approved. And if you are, reach out to me through Discord so I can help you understand why this may not be popping up yet. You would click this product does not have a brand name if you want to sell as a generic product, which I do not recommend. Always use your brand name, especially if you have it. The issue here too is if you start out with generic and say, oh, later on I'll add my brand name to the product, you cannot do that because that becomes a locked requirement. And anything that has this lock here, you cannot change once we go ahead and we submit this for the first time. All right, external product ID. This may have an asterisk next to it, meaning that it is required. And there's a few different things that we can do here. First, I would recommend just select I don't have a product ID if you only plan to sell this product on Amazon. If you're unsure, or if you do plan to sell this on a different platform such as eBay or Shopify, you will want to get a G10 or UPC, and I'll share with you how you can do that now. So what we'll do is we'll go to the link that's right below this video in the course right now, And this is the cheapest way of actually doing this. And this is purchasing a G10 for $30, which is just one G10. This is also the only company that you can purchase this from, which is gs1.org. When I mean the only company, this is the only company that Amazon allows you to purchase it from. Do not buy a recycled or third-party barcode, as it will be rejected. Another thing I want to note is if you do have variations, you will need one barcode for each variation, so it can become costly very quickly. It's very easy to fill this out. First, we need to enter our brand name, so we'll type in Vibere, and then the product description. Think of this as your product title. So we'll head back here. We will copy the item name, which is our product title, and we'll paste that into there. Then you can click Add to Cart, and you can complete the checkout process just as you normally would on any other website. At that point, once you finish that entire checkout process and you pay for it, you should receive what your G10 is. So you can copy that 12 to 14 digit number, and you should also receive an email with it. And then you can enter that in here. However, for most of you, I'd imagine you're just planning to sell this product at least on Amazon. So I would just select I don't have a product ID and click Next. Okay, so let's talk about what we're looking at here, and let's change a few things before we get to the content. Up top here, we have our tabs. So there's 5 tabs. There's product identity, which we just completed, description, product details, offer tab, and safety and compliance. You can jump back and forth as much as you want. If you ever see a red exclamation point, as we see here to the left of the tab, that means there is a required field that we have to complete before we can go ahead and submit this application. All right, the other thing we need to do is the attributes here. Select all attributes because there are some things within this that aren't required that we still want to add to our listing to provide some more information. Okay, so let's start out with our product description. This section will ultimately be replaced, this text here, it will be replaced with the A+ content that we create later on. But for now, we still want something in there while that A+ content is either being created or being approved. So what you want to do is you want to read what the AI tool came up with. Read this throughout and make sure that it makes sense to you logically as a human being. Because sometimes the language is a little bit off, or most importantly, it's going to be very general. It's not going to be specific to your product because it doesn't know your product like you do. If you have a certain feature that you want to add into this product description, make sure to go ahead and add that. I read through this and everything is good enough for at least this scenario. And again, you can always click regenerate. Bullet points are shown here. I recommend having 5 bullet points, no more, no less. You can always click add more to add more, and then you can select your 5 that you want to be shown. But make sure you don't just put 1 bullet point or 2. The second thing on bullet points, which is nice that they do this, it's great to add a subject like you see here, convenient size, colon, and then you have your sentence. I recommend no more than 2 sentences per bullet point because it just becomes way too much information. And with human beings having a shorter and shorter attention span, we want to make sure we don't lose them and they go to a different product listing. So the way they did it here was actually great. I always recommend 1 sentence is usually the best, and just try to be as concise as possible. These bullet points should show your 5 most important selling features for your product. These are the 5 biggest ideas or biggest items or biggest features that help you stand out from your competition. This is probably the second most important part from your listing, other than the images, which we'll create later on. So take time and review these, add some concise information to help sell your product. All right, next is images. You do need 1 image, and we'll talk about what these images require at this point. And then obviously when I create the video, I'll share with you how to create at least 6 of these, up to a maximum of 9. The first image is your main image, which you can see here. This is one that has a white background. It will not be approved if it does not have a white background, so that's very important. For now, I'm going to upload the supplier photo just so I can get this listing created. It may create a red flag because it doesn't have a perfect white background, but it's enough to at least submit the listing. And then later on, we can always go back and I'll show you how to edit those images. All right, once you've uploaded that, let's go to the next tab here, and that is product details. So this is really a lot of like specific model information for your product. Now, there are going to be some parameters that look different for you, and that's because the different category that you're in, you're going to be asked different questions. For example, if we were creating a automotive tire product compared to a watch, a jewelry watch, there's 2 different items. Those are 2 completely different items that require different information. So do your best to fill out at least the required information, which has the asterisk next to it. And then always check the ones that are yellow, the ones that are highlighted in this peach, tan, orange color, because that means that AI generated that for you. So model name, this is just, I'm just going to put golf head cover. This is, if you have a specific model for your product, you can use that. Manufacturer, this can be your brand name, or it can be the manufacturer overseas that you purchased it from. Generic keywords, this is where we want to go ahead and we want to add some of those trending keywords from our list here. So I'm going to type in, I'm going to copy golf head cover, and then put a comma to separate the different phrases. So go ahead and add a few of these. So it's also important to know in this section not to repeat any keywords because it does not help and it may actually hurt your search rank. So I have golf here. How many times? I'm going to delete golf throughout all of these. And you don't have to put a comma if you don't want to. It really doesn't matter for the way that this pulls all the information out. So go back through here and delete any type of words that are repeated more than once. Okay, now we have our list here without anything repeated. And if it's plural versus not plural, that is okay. All right, department name. This is going to be unisex because it does not matter if a woman. This is going to be unisex adult. Material is leather. And then it also took the felt from the inside. So I'll leave felt there as well. Okay, number of items. How many items will the customer receive? They will receive 1, so I want to make sure I put that in there. And then item package quantity is also 1. They'll receive 1 of these units in 1 package. Color, this is white. I'm going to skip size and part number. Patterns quilted, that is correct. Included components, golf driver head cover, that is fine. And then closure type, elastic. So it does actually have an elastic band. I'm surprised that it was able to pull that information from it. So that's awesome. All right, and then it is the item dimensions. This may actually be required, it may not. I'm still going to add it in here. This is the item length, which if you remember, for just the product itself is 12. Then we want to select inches here. And then the shorter edge is 2 inches. This is the width. Okay, we'll click offer now, and we'll head off to the fourth. We'll head over to the 4th tab. Seller SKU. This is one that isn't required for you to complete, but I think it's very important. This is known as your stock keeping unit, or what you refer to as a code internally to identify this product. For me, I always start out with what the color is. I'll put a dash and put golf head cover, so I know what it is. So I can look at this and say, oh, that's a white golf head cover. Another option is I could do cigar whiskey golf head cover. Any of those options work. We'll go back to white though. Okay, quantity, we can actually skip this because we are an FBA seller, and down here you'll see that parameter will go away. So we'll skip a lot of these and we're just going to go down to your price. What are you selling this product as? We're going to sell this at $29.99, and we can change this at any time. And then we'll come back to sales price later on. Offering condition type, this is a new product, it is not used, so I'll select a new. And then list price, just click this where it says set list price equal to your price, $29.99. All right, import destination. This was imported. This came from overseas, so click imported. And then here's the important part to get rid of some of those requirements above. How will you fulfill these orders to the customer? Will you do MFN or FBM, which means you will fulfill these to the customer yourself, or will we be using fulfilled by Amazon or FBA? That's what we'll be using, so select FBA. And now if we go up, we don't see that quantity field anymore. It went away. All right, let's type in the item package. Okay, let's go down to the item package dimensions and then the package weight. Again, this is the package. This is not the item itself, so it's going to be the larger dimensions. I did test it out to see if the AI technology could put it in here, but it looks like it does not. So we'll type in 12.5. This is the product within the poly bag. And then 4.5 inches, and then the height is 2. Really, I guess the height should be 12.5, and the length will be 2. Doesn't matter a whole lot, but just for the sake of where they put the dimensions, just make sure it looks like that. All right, package weight. This can be in many different units, so I always look at the units first before I go ahead and type what it is. Pounds is what I typically recommend for a smaller product, or you can go to grams. Think of your customer base. We're in the United States. They are all familiar with pounds, so you can't go wrong by using pounds as your weight measurement. This, again, is your item within the package. All that together how much does it weigh? For us, it's 0.4 pounds. All right. Last step here, which is an easy one. This is safety and compliance. Country, region of origin. This came from China, so I'll just type in China. I'll select it. If there's a warranty, you can enter your warranty here. I'm going to put no warranty. This shouldn't be confused with the customer returns or the return policy that Amazon provides through FBA. Customers do have the option to return your product still to Amazon within 30 days for most products, so that still applies. This is a manufacturer warranty to say, hey, if 2 years later down the road, if there were a defect in your product, this buyer could reach out to you and to go through that warranty process. It's totally fine to put no warranty for an item like this. Are batteries required? We'll click no, and then dangerous goods regulations. So if you have some type of chemical in your product, like a pesticide, for example, you want to make sure you identify that here for the customer. Do not overlook any of this, because this is stuff that could provide legal implications and really come back to you if you aren't accurate with the safety and the dangerous goods regulations. This one's not applicable to us though. Everything's safe in this product to use. Okay, then let's add in some more information here, like the item weight. This is your product alone. How much does it weigh? Ours weighs 0.35 pounds. You're typically asked for this anyways. You can see now it's required. So that's why I said just go ahead and do it now. If you have a California Prop 65 warning, you can go ahead and do that, but these are all optional. Read through all of them, make sure if anything applies to your product or anything that's in your product that you go ahead and you identify it in this section. Okay, so we'll do a final check here to make sure there's no red exclamation points, and then we'll go ahead and we will click submit. And at that point, within 15 minutes, but more than likely 24 hours is what it takes, you will find your listing pop up in your manage inventory screen, which I'll show you here in a little bit. Now, for those who have variations, let's go back to the product identity tab, and let's say, hey, we actually have variations. We have 3 different colors. We have white, red, and blue. So I want to select color. And you can see here some of them are grayed out, so I can't click color and style, but I can click color and size. So if I were to sell this same design of product in a putter design, I could use the size here. And you can have multiple variations, even if they add into one another, such as size and color. So select all that are applicable to you. And if you're selling different t-shirts, for example, you will have different size, right? You have small, medium, large, XL, and so forth. So this is a great time to use the variations tab. The reason why we do want to use the variations and not just create, in this example, 3 separate listings is because anytime someone purchases the red head cover or the white head cover, that review that the customer leaves all compiles into one single rating system. So our red variation and our blue variation will share reviews and will allow us to increase the number of reviews at a much quicker pace. The reason why you want reviews is because it really helps out with your search rank. So now we have the variations tab up here with the red exclamation point, meaning that there's stuff that we need to add. So if we click this is what you should see, and this will show all the variation types here. For us, we have a white. We'll click add. We have a red. And by the way, you can name these anything you want. If we wanted to put American red, for example, we could type in American red. These are your colors, not necessarily what they are on the spectrum. And then we'll type in blue. Once we add all the color variations or your variations, you'll see everything down below here. So you'll be asked, type in your seller SKU. Remember in the past, this was white golf head cover. I'm going to use that same terminology. And then I'll type it in here. Since we already used this for the parent, I'm just going to put W golf head cover. The reason why I received that error there is because the way that Amazon characterizes variations is you have a parent listing and then you have all your child variations. The parent listing is what really holds everything together. And that is something that you don't necessarily see on Amazon, the parent listing, but we will see on the back end through Seller Central. So just know that whatever you put for the SKU for the parent listing, it must be different than the child variations. And these are actually the 3 things that we want to see here. All right, external product ID, this is the GTIN. So in this example, we would have to purchase 3 $30 GTINs or more, depending on the amount of variations that you have, and you'll want to type that in. If this is not required, because we selected I don't have a product ID, you don't have to add anything in here, so you can just leave this blank. Next, you want to add an image. Again, you can add these images later on and edit them at any point, but if you have an image, go ahead and add it. The one thing I'll say on this is make sure if you have the white head cover, I have to make sure I'm only showing the white images. Same thing with the red. You don't want to put a white image on the red variation or a blue image on the red variation, because that's going to confuse the customer. Just to demonstrate this more when I'm speaking about these variations, I want you to understand exactly what this means on the listing. So this is a competitor listing, and if I go down here, we see down here the 4 driver, so that's their variation type. If you get a 4 driver black, you can see the images change, right? And in the main photos, they should only be showing the black image. So if we go back to for driver, we can see the images change to white. That's very important, because if you were on 4 driver for the white variation and it was showing black or red, it's going to confuse the customer. They're going to click off your listing and you're going to have a low conversion rate. So it's important to go ahead and add the correct images. Next is the condition type. These are all new products, so click new. And then we'll enter our price. If they're just a color variation, I'd imagine the price will be the same. If not, you can have independent pricing, and then we can go ahead, we can click submit. And again, it'll take 15 minutes to up to about 24 hours, I would say, for this listing and these variations to populate in your manage inventory screen. All right, so click submit. All right, so once your product has been approved by Amazon, you will be able to find it in this manage inventory screen. If we go to the menu here, just go to inventory, then manage all inventory. And I just added to my bookmarks here, so it's right here always. I have this filtered down to just this ASIN, which is the one that we just created. I did go back and I added some more information just to make it a little bit better, and then I adjusted my price just slightly. Now what's great now is we have access to a lot of different information about our product listing itself. First, we have our listing status here, so we can click replenish inventory if we want to ship inventory into Amazon, which we will in a couple steps. Next, we have our product image for our product, and then the title here. If we click this will take us to the product detail page. We also have our ASIN here. This is Amazon's standard identification number, or their unique identifier for your listing and your product. You can see your performance over the past 30 days, how much inventory you have, what's available, what's inbound, meaning it's being shipped to Amazon. And then we can always change our pricing very quickly here. The last column, which is very important, is your total fees. So if we click calculate revenue, this will take us to a side revenue calculator, which we can see what our referral fee is, which is $5.48. We can see our fulfillment cost, $5.29. That's the FBA fee. And then overall, what our margin will be. This margin will be much higher, so make sure you enter your cost of goods sold into here to get a more accurate estimate of what it will be. So I'm jumping back here to our spreadsheet that we created when we were estimating our costs. I want to share with you why this is so important. So we were estimating the profit margin with this quote, which is the supplier I ended up proceeding forward with, of 35%. If we go back here and we type in our cost of goods sold of $8.04 and click save, we can see down here, our profit margin's actually rounded up to 36%. So we're a little bit more conservative than we needed to be. And we can actually change this to east and it should increase even more. Yep, 36.22%. But this just goes to show a very important reason why a lot of beginner sellers, they get to this point and they see their Amazon fees and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to profit. I have a 4% profit margin or a negative profit margin. That's why it's so important to go ahead, do all that information, do all those calculations ahead of time before you even place your order, so you know what you're going to get yourself into. And that way you know accurately what you can expect in terms of your return on investment. Okay, so that's how you gain access to your listing there. And then if you ever want to edit anything on your listing, click these 3 dots on the right-hand side. And then, I don't know why it's getting stuck up there. But at the very top here, you can't really see it, but it says Manage Images. Let's see if that helps. There it goes. If that happens, I don't know, I just remove my bookmarks from Google Chrome. Or you can enlarge your browser if you want. But here, once you click the 3 dots, this will take you to Edit Listing, which will take you directly back to that familiar page that we just created. And then you can edit anything that doesn't have a lock next to it. So the things that have a lock next to it are your UPC, your seller SKU, and your brand name. I think that's it, but there may be a couple other things. It's really just information that just pertains to this listing that you just created. All right, we'll head back here. And then if you ever want to quickly manage your images, you can click Manage Images and upload or edit or move them around. And then there's some other information. The other thing I want to make sure at this point, you should see a line item, 4th or 5th item down, where it says change to fulfilled by merchant. Don't click that. That means you are an FBA seller. If this says change to fulfilled by Amazon, and you probably won't have an FBA fee here, make sure you click that and you convert that listing to FBA, because that's what we ultimately want to be using, not MFN or FBM. All right, so now we have our listing. The next step is to create those product images, which I'll share with you in the next lesson.